Speaker, on the 29th of February of this year, I stood here in this well and announced that I was leaving Congress. And when I did that, I said that this institution is as great as it has ever been. The reason I said that is that Congress is a reflection of the people. And it means that when America is divided, Congress is divided. That doesn't mean that we as leaders, Mr. Speaker, can't work to bridge this divide. While political division is a current reality, it is not our fate. I believe that as an institution, Congress can and must forge new consensus and restore hope and optimism for future generations. Optimism, Mr. Speaker, as you know very well, is what we as Americans are all about. And I've got to tell you, Mr. Speaker, that optimism has been validated again and again and again. Now, actually, there are positive signs. While it gets very little attention, we have come together to craft solutions. The issue that I've been involved in that frankly has been the most unifying issue around here for us has been the trade issue. A year ago, Democrats and Republicans came together and passed our long pending, they'd been pending for over half a decade, our free trade agreements with Colombia, Panama, and South Korea, with strong bipartisan votes. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, our very first action following November's very, very deeply polarizing election was to join together to strengthen our hand against Russia's outrageous actions by passing permanent normal trade relations. We did it with one of the largest bipartisan and bicameral votes that a trade bill has ever seen. And Mr. Speaker, I would like to make the case that these consensus-driven solutions should be a model for the 113th Congress. Today, we are proceeding with a critical step to avert a serious economic downturn. But this is only the beginning of the work that must be done, as we all know. Ultimately, Mr. Speaker, we must reach an agreement that combines, as I said earlier, meaningful entitlement reform with new revenues in a way that puts us back on a path towards growth and prosperity. If we're going to accomplish this, we must work together. Republicans and Democrats, Congress and the White House, the federal government and the states, the public sector and the private sector. Now, Mr. Speaker, some might say that saying those things is a cliche. But as we all know, members are going to have to engage in rigorous debate, and there needs to be that clash of ideas, a rigorous debate, but it needs to be done in good faith and with a spirit of compromise. Now, I realize that some argue that compromise is a sign of weakness. In fact, one of the great strengths, Mr. Speaker, of our nation's founders was their ability to compromise. The very structure of this institution, the United States Congress, the very structure of our institution, which joins the People's House, where we're all privileged to serve, with the state-focused United States Senate, was known as what? The Connecticut Compromise, or the Great Compromise. That's the very basis of our founders. Too often we forget that while we should never compromise our principles, we must always, Mr. Speaker, we must always be prepared to compromise in the service of our principles. A couple of weeks ago, The Economist described another example of compromise This one in what Justice Brandeis described as one of the laboratories of democracy, that being the state of Georgia. The conservative Republican governor, our former House colleague, Nathan Deal, and the liberal mayor of Atlanta, Kasim Reed, are clearly at opposite ends of the political spectrum. Yet they have managed to bridge that divide through a commitment to results. Mr. Speaker, together they have achieved significant gains for the good of Georgia. Mr. Speaker, Congress and the White House are perfectly capable of following that same model for the good of our country. Americans may be politically divided, but they are united in their desire to see their leaders in Washington achieve results. Now, Mr. Speaker, we know it's far from perfect, but I hope that this bipartisan agreement can lay the foundation for continued work to address the tremendous challenges that we face as a nation. Millions of Americans are out of work. The national debt as a percentage of gross domestic product is too high. Upheaval exists in nearly every region across the globe. Education and immigration reform must happen. The potential for a crippling cyber attack continues to be a threat. Climate change is a fact of life, and most recently, Mr. Speaker, our families are reeling from the tragedy of Newtown. They're asking how we can prevent it from ever happening again and how we can keep guns from getting into the hands of dangerous people. These are the great challenges to which we all must rise, for which we all must find real solutions. Now, I look forward to continuing to do my small part as I follow the Madisonian directive and return to California as a private citizen. It's been an incredible honor, Mr. Speaker, an incredible honor for me to serve in what I describe, even though the Senate often takes this label, this is the greatest deliberative body known to man, and I consider it an amazing honor to be able to serve here. Now, as I depart, and I hope that there is no correlation to my departure, I believe that the United States Congress can actually be better than it has ever been. And with that, I yield back the balance of my time and move the previous question.
This has been a Sunfish production.